So we know the police identified the suspect as 36-year-old Mohammed Jallow. A former Virginia National Guardsman. Authorities have not mentioned a motive. They say Jallow had wanted to conduct.
What's up, guys? Spenny. Sometimes you just come across a feel-good story and it warms your heart. This is a terrorist. His name is Mohammed Jallow. He wasn't born here. He was brought here, no doubt, at the expense of the taxpayer. He became a naturalized paperwork American. Then he was radicalized by Al-Qaeda, pledges support to ISIS, is arrested and convicted for pledging support to ISIS. He pled guilty. Sentenced to 11 years in prison and released early under Joe Biden. There you go. He promised he was going to attack America, and then he attacked America yesterday. But there is a silver lining to all of this, which is that America is still filled with Americans who beat the shit out of this guy, stabbed him to death, ISIS-supporting Old Dominion gunman. He had shot a number of people in a classroom, and in spite of the fact that he was firing a hail of bullets, the ROTC young cadets jumped up and behaved valiantly, taking him out. Heroic ROTC students fatally stabbed the crazed ISIS-linked gunman who opened fire inside an Old Dominion University classroom. Students, stopped further carnage, law enforcement sources say. Shooter Mohammed Jallow, exactly the kind of people our founders intended, to be here committing terrorist attacks, gunned down an instructor before an unidentified cadet jumped into action to end the suspect terrorist attack, Virginia College sources say. Jallow, who was previously convicted trying to support ISIS, walked into the classroom and asked if it was an ROTC class, sources told the Post. They opened fire. When somebody told him it was, he began his trail of bloodshed. FBI is investigating it as an act of terrorism. Oh, I wonder what the motive could possibly be. Within an hour, the shooting school officials said there was no longer a threat to staff and students because the ROTC members acted so swiftly. An instructor, a military officer, was pronounced dead. Here is Mohammed, who wounded multiple people in a hail of bullets. They're in stable condition. You got to ask the question, so Trump put him in jail. Trump puts him in jail for joining ISIS, right? For committing, for planning to commit a terrorist attacks in America with ISIS. That's what he was convicted of. Biden lets him out early and then leaves him in America. Do you realize how suicidal that all is? Do you realize how insane everyone has to be? How nuts and the madness of that? And not sending him back, sending his ass back to anywhere other than America, but Sierra Leone, fine. Anywhere. Just get him out of this hemisphere. Do you realize how, again, it's suicidal empathy will be the undoing of this nation. One of the victims brought themselves to the hospital. Anyway, this is being hailed, obviously, as a massive W for the ROTC.
How was he deceased?
There were students who were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
The one that went to Virginia?
So they rendered him unalived. They unalived him, even though they had no firearms. Man, I hope Trump awards these students. Look at some of the reactions are great here. Student killed the Muslim attacker without guns. Incredibly badass. Yeah, ODU students executed the Islamist. With no weapons. They trampled him into oblivion. Showed no effing mercy. Old Dominion ROTC students. Yeah, that's right. They ended him without any guns. Old Dominion ROTC students when they see an Islamic terrorist. There you go. Trump wanted 20 years. Judge gave him 11. Biden let him out early. There you go. And then kept him in America, right? Leave him in America. After he shouts Allahu Akbar and note to college students. If your resume says you beat an Islamist terrorist gunman to death with your bare hands, American Patriot employers will throw all other resumes in the trash. It's a fact. That's right. Yeah. Some ROTC kid today. For the record, I'm absolutely giddy upon hearing that an ROTC student at a college stabbed an Aloha snack bar terrorist to death 22 times as he cried and squealed like a dog and begged for them to stop. Oh my. This is the individual, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw, who was killed in this attack. It's incredibly sad and really tough to see. Lost a good American. Brandon Shaw was killed today, the victim of a terrorist attack at Old Dominion University. Brandon is a professor. He was a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Atlantic Resolve. He had all of these commendations going over there to fight radical Islam and terrorism, just to come back here and be killed by our own immigration policies that allow terrorists to stay here and not be deported. We're not from here. He deserved better. Damn right he did. That's right. Absolute heroes. Amazing. They beat the shooter to death. Can't emphasize this. The fact that the Old Dominion University students literally beat the Muslim shooter to death with their bare hands and everything else that they had. That doesn't show you how fatigued we actually are. And then, yeah, probably not a good idea to put the terrorist back on the streets.
By a group of ROTC students. So we know the police identified the suspect as 36-year-old Mohammed Jallow, a former Virginia National Guardsman. While authorities had not mentioned a motive, they say Jallow had wanted to conduct an attack similar to the 2009 shooting in Fort Hood, Texas. Jallow was convicted by the Justice Department.
In 2016, Jallow was arrested and pled guilty for attempting to provide material support to ISIL, now known as ISIS. Jallow was sentenced to prison in October of 2017 and was released from prison in 2024.
In a letter asking for leniency in that 2016 case, Jallow says he felt the need to give back to the U.S. after starting college at ODU and shortly after he joined the National Guard. Now FBI Director Kash Patel says the agency is investigating this shooting at ODU as an...
Enough of the suicidal empathy, enough of the toxic suicidal empathy shot through the core of our immigration policies. No, they'll be better. They'll be better here than they are there. Right? They destroyed Somalia. Somalia is the number one place you don't want to live because of all of the mutilation, piracy, child brides, Sharia law, sectarian violence, collapsed, non-working infrastructure. They have voter ID though. They have very strict voter ID in Mogadishu. Hilarious. A grand total of 0 of the men who signed the Declaration of Independence were named Muhammad. So why, ladies and gentlemen, should we spend American tax dollars to bring terrorist murderers to our land? Seems like a very bad use of money. No politicians ever explained that. We should keep asking. It's your boy Benny. Thank you, the ROTC heroes. Really like to find out who they are, right? Make sure to send them some Chick-fil-A or whatever, right? You can always make some of these day better. Who's a literal hero? And these are literal heroes. See ya.